When the last C-17 lifted off from Kabul in August 2021, it left behind more than memories. It left behind billions in cutting-edge American military hardware, now in the hands of those who spent 20 years fighting against it. Today, we break down every single weapon system the US abandoned in Afghanistan. Don't miss a single reveal as we see them all. Chapter 1. Ground Dominance, the Armored Fleet. Starting off with the M1117 Guardian Armored Security Vehicle. Featuring a 360-degree rotating turret, armed with an Mk-19 automatic grenade launcher. This four-wheeled Apex Predator was designed to survive IED strikes and ambushes in urban kill zones. Taliban forces now deploy these platforms for checkpoint enforcement and rapid response operations across former government strongholds. Next up, the Max Pro MRAP, built with V-shaped hull geometry, specifically engineered to deflect blast force away from the crew compartment. This mine-resistant behemoth became the backbone of convoy protection throughout the Afghan theater. Intelligence reports confirm over 150 of these units are now operational under Taliban command, providing their forces with survivability they never possessed during insurgency operations. Let's move on to the Humvee M1151. Equipped with upgraded armor packages and mounted weapon systems ranging from M2 Browning 50 caliber machine guns to TOW missile launchers. This legendary workhorse defined American mobility doctrine for decades. An estimated 42,000 Humvees fell into Taliban hands, instantly mechanizing a force that previously relied on Toyota pickups and motorcycles. Continuing with the international Max Pro-DXM, sporting enhanced suspension systems capable of handling 70-mile-per-hour speeds on improved roads while maintaining mine protection. This evolution of the MRAP platform delivers tactical flexibility without sacrificing crew protection. These vehicles now patrol Kabul's streets, a stark visual reminder of the transfer of military power. Up next, the RG-33 MRAP, utilizing a monocoque armored hull design that distributes blast energy across the entire structure rather than concentrated points. This South African origin platform became critical for route clearance missions. Taliban acquisition of these systems fundamentally altered their capability to project force beyond traditional strongholds. Chapter 2. Rotary Wing Assets, Airborne Superiority. Now, let's look at the UH-60 Black Hawk. Powered by twin General Electric T700 turboshaft engines, generating 1,940 horsepower each, this multi-role helicopter dominated Afghanistan's unforgiving mountain terrain with its high-altitude performance envelope. Over 33 Black Hawks were abandoned, though Taliban forces struggle with the complex maintenance requirements and pilot training necessary to sustain flight operations. Moving forward with the MD-530F Cayuse Warrior, featuring forward-looking infrared sensors and weapons hardpoints for 70mm rocket pods. This light attack helicopter provided lethal overwatch for ground operations in confined urban environments. The Afghan Air Force operated nearly 150 of these platforms, now repainted and occasionally spotted conducting low-altitude patrols over major cities. Let's transition to the Mi-17 HIP. Equipped with dual cargo doors and a rear loading ramp, this Russian-built workhorse can insert 36 combat-ready troops or deliver 8 tons of cargo to landing zones where American helicopters couldn't operate. The US purchased dozens for the Afghan military. Ironically, these proved easier for Taliban maintainers to service than American equivalents. Continuing with the CH-46 Sea Knight. Sporting tandem rotor configuration that eliminates the need for a tail rotor and enables superior stability during mountain operations. These medium-lift platforms serve with distinction before their Afghan handover. Multiple airframes remain grounded at Kabul International, awaiting technicians with expertise the Taliban has yet to develop. Chapter 3. Fixed-wing dominance, Strike and reconnaissance, starting off with the A-29 Super Tucano. Armed with two 50 caliber machine guns in the wings and hardpoints for precision-guided munitions, this turboprop light attack aircraft delivered surgical fire support across Afghanistan's contested battle space. 23 Super Tucanos were transferred to Afghan forces. Satellite imagery confirms several remain operational, though at drastically reduced sortie rates. Next, the C-208 Caravan. Utilizing a single Pratt & Whitney turboprop engine and short-field takeoff capability, this utility transport became essential for resupplying remote outposts unreachable by road. Taliban forces now possess the intelligence-gathering variants, equipped with sensor packages for surveillance operations against resistance forces in the Panjshir Valley. Let's move on to the Cessna 182 Skylane. Fitted with communications relay equipment and basic reconnaissance packages, these civilian-origin platforms provided cost-effective aerial observation throughout the conflict. Their simple maintenance requirements make them among the most sustainable aircraft in Taliban hands. Up next, the AC-208 Combat Caravan. Mounting the Hellfire missile system on a platform originally designed for cargo operations, this gunship variant brought precision strike capability to remote areas without requiring the logistics footprint of jet aircraft. The Taliban's possession of even non-functional variants provides reverse engineering opportunities with concerning implications. Chapter 4: Small Arms Arsenal. Infantry Lethality. Now let's look at the M4 carbine. Featuring a 14.5-inch barrel with direct impingement gas operation and modular rail systems for optics and accessories, this 5.56mm platform defined close-quarters dominance for 2 decades of counterinsurgency. Estimates suggest over 350,000 M4 variants were left behind, enough to completely re-equip the Taliban's entire fighting force with American technology. Moving forward with the M16A4. Equipped with a 20-inch barrel optimized for the 5.56mm round's effective range, and mounting the M203 40mm grenade launcher, this rifle provided designated marksmen with enhanced reach over the shorter M4. Taliban propaganda footage routinely showcases these weapons in parades, demonstrating their symbolic and tactical value. Continuing with the M249 squad automatic weapon, delivering 200-round belt-fed suppressive fire at 850 rounds per minute. This light machine gun anchored American squad tactics by enabling fire superiority during contact. Each abandoned saw represents a capability multiplier the Taliban never possessed during insurgent operations. Let's transition to the M240B medium machine gun. Chambered in 7.62mm NATO and capable of sustained fire with tripod-mounted accuracy out to 1,800 meters. This belt-fed weapon system provided the backbone of defensive positions and vehicle-mounted firepower. Taliban acquisition of these platforms significantly enhances their ability to defend captured territory against counterattacks. Up next, the M2 Browning 50 caliber machine gun. Featuring a 100-year-old design that remains unmatched for vehicle destruction and anti-personnel effects out to 2,000 meters. This heavy machine gun can penetrate light armored vehicles and neutralize low-flying aircraft. Hundreds of these technological marvels now serve the same forces that once faced them from the receiving end. Moving on to the M110 semi-automatic sniper system. Utilizing the 7.62mm round with a 20-round magazine and sophisticated optics packages, this designated marksman rifle extended precision fire capability to 800 meters with rapid follow-up shots. Taliban snipers now employ American thermal optics and suppressors that were previously unattainable through their supply networks. Continuing with the M24 sniper weapon system, built on the Remington 700 action with military-grade barrels capable of sub-MOA accuracy, this bolt-action platform delivered lethal precision beyond 900 meters. Each abandoned rifle represents years of American taxpayer investment, now serving adversary marksmanship programs. Let's look at the M9 Beretta pistol. Chambered in 9mm with a 15-round double-stack magazine, this sidearm served as the standard-issue handgun for U.S. forces before the transition to the M17. Tens of thousands now armed Taliban officers, replacing the aging Soviet-era Makarovs they carried for decades. Chapter 5. Support Systems, Force Multiplication. Starting off with the ANPRC-152 multiband radio. Featuring software-defined architecture enabling encrypted communication across VHF, UHF, and SATCOM frequencies. This handheld system provided secure coordination that Taliban jamming efforts couldn't penetrate. Captured radios offer potential access to communication protocols and encryption methodologies if properly exploited. Next up, night vision devices, PVS-14 monoculars. Utilizing third-generation image intensification tubes that amplify ambient light by 50,000 times, these systems transformed American forces into nocturnal apex predators, while Taliban fighters remained effectively blind. Over 16,000 NVG units were abandoned, eliminating the darkness advantage that defined 2 decades of special operations dominance. Let's move on to scan-evil drones. Equipped with electro-optical and infrared cameras providing real-time intelligence from 15,000-foot operational ceilings, these small unmanned aerial systems conducted thousands of reconnaissance missions. Taliban forces now possess surveillance capabilities that fundamentally alter the tactical equation for resistance movements. Continuing with counter-IED equipment, Valon VMH-3 metal detectors. Featuring advanced discrimination capabilities that distinguish between harmless metal debris and actual explosive devices. These systems saved countless American lives during route clearance operations. The irony of Taliban forces now using American Calger IED technology against resistance forces isn't lost on military analysts. Up next, medical equipment, field surgical kits, containing advanced trauma care supplies from hemostatic gauze to portable ultrasound devices. These kits represented battlefield medicine capabilities that exceeded most civilian hospitals. Taliban acquisition provides their forces with medical sustainability that insurgent movements typically lack. Let's transition to M141 bunker defeat munition, delivering an 83mm high-explosive charge specifically designed to penetrate hardened bunkers and light vehicles before detonating. This shoulder-fired weapon system brought breaching capability to infantry squads. Taliban forces now employ American bunker-busting technology against the same fortifications coalition forces built. Up next, Claymore M18A1 mines, featuring 700 steel balls propelled by C4 explosive in a 60-degree arc out to 50 meters. These directional anti-personnel mines defined perimeter defense for forward operating bases. Stockpiles of these weapons now arm Taliban defensive positions with American lethality. The equipment inventory left behind in Afghanistan represents the single largest material transfer to a non-state actor in modern military history. An arsenal valued at over $7 billion that instantly transformed Taliban capabilities from insurgent guerrillas to a conventionally equipped force operating American technology that 20 years of combat couldn't defeat.